So welcome to Consumption Conversations, and with us today we have Stasiuk from Poland. And Kasia, would you introduce yourself?
Hello, Valerie. It's nice to talk. It's nice to talk to you. I'm Katarzyna Stasiuk, but people call me Kasia. Usually, I'm associate professor at Institute of Applied Psychology at Jagiellonian University in Krakow, which is in Poland, as you said. My academic background is social psychology, but over the past several years, I shifted more to consumer psychology with the recent focus on sustainable or unsustainable consumption. And my recent work is interdisciplinary and application oriented. I collaborate with legal scholars and I try to apply some insights from consumer psychology and empirical research to legal contexts, such as intellectual property law or consumer protection law. And as to the sustainability, we focus on the legal issues that affect or may affect the implementation of circular economy practices. And I'm also the expert witness in litigations related to trademark infringement and unfair marketing practices. And it allows me somehow to bridge the scientific perspective and my scientific knowledge and practice. And last but not least, something completely different, I'm also under the certification as cognitive behavioral psychotherapist.
So that's a very interesting background you have, and obviously a lot of experience to bring to the table. So, from your experience and from your outlook, how do you see the way we are going, and how do you see how it would be the most effective ways and directions in which you think we should look for getting to more sustainable lifestyles?
Um, I think that I share this feeling with many people, at least in SCORAI. I think that we as a Homo sapiens go in the wrong direction. And we completely lost our respect to nature that our ancestors had. And we can't coexist with nature. And sooner or later, I think that we will pay for it.
Who are the other agents who would have the most effective influence on the way consumers are behaving? And let's take Poland as a case example and say, well, how would you bring the consumers into more sustainable behavior if you had let's assume the courts are there, they had a good, clear level of legislation, a code of how to act, and the business partners were willing to come on board.
Wow.
And you said your expertise was in social psychology and social behavior. So what is the most effective way we can harness and bring in people on board in a way that would be acceptable and they were willing to go ahead and do it?
Maybe what I will tell, it is not related, in fact, to only to Poland. It is more general. Then I can refer to the specific situation that we have or the specific culture that we have in Poland. But in general, I was listening to your previous consumption conversations, and I completely agree with your guests that the government is important, that business is important agent, that consumers themselves are very important agents. What I would add from my more psychological perspective, I would add one specific group of one specific agent, and this is the family environment. And especially parents or caregivers. And their influence starts very early and runs deep. And it is so strong that it can shapes not only the behavior, but also the long-term attitudes and values. And this shaping goes usually not through the formal instruction, but with the observing of everyday or with modeling of everyday behaviors and choices that child can observe. So when parents consistently demonstrate the sustainable approach, like reducing waste, conserving energy, being more mindful about the consumption, this kind of it can becomes the part of child's implicit understanding of what normal behavior is. And this is the observational learning, which is rooted in Albert Bandura theory of social learning, and it is the strongest in the early development. And then through the observation of this kind of behaviors, then the children can internalize them, and it can form somehow a background for the more sustainable values in the future.
So can a family behavior manage to combat a strong social pressure on adolescents of shopping, purchasing, showing that it comes from the world of advertising? Are we managing to enable families to make those social norms that you think are so important?
I think that it will be difficult to overcome this influence, this outside influence, the culture of consumerism. So for sure, it will be difficult, because there's no parents don't want to. Parents wanted to their child to be accepted by the peer group, and very often to be accepted by the peer group means that for the peer group it is more important to have than to be. So of course it is difficult, and we have the clash of, let's say, two different influence. Let's say my personal value as a parent and my personal values is somehow related to sustainability. Sustainability is important to me, and I think that we definitely consume too much. However, on the other hand, I want my son to be accepted by the group. So sometimes I feel that I'm somehow forced to buy him things that normally I wouldn't like to buy him. But I have my observation from my family life. My observation as a parent. I have two sons. One is adult, and one is teenager. And when his adult was teenager, I thought, oh my God, he doesn't think about the consequences of consumption. He doesn't care about the environment. I tell and I repeat, please, I don't know, reduce the waste and so on. And he doesn't care it at all. And now I see that he's adult, and I don't know when it started, but I see these sustainable values that he has. So I think that maybe, I hope that my younger son will will shift it to the same behavior. So I don't think that we will be able to totally overcome this consumerism culture. But I think that we can somehow to decrease the influence of the consumerist culture. No, there is no miracle. I don't have the miracle solution. We have a sustainable parents, and then of course our children will be also will present the sustainable behaviors. No, it is not so easy.
So you would concentrate on the early years, not a formal school teaching system, but the atmosphere, the social norms which the child and the adolescent sees around him as he's growing up. And how then would you, is there a strengthening or keeping, supporting the cultural importance of the family and the family behavior and activities? Is there a cultural support for that in Poland, in Polish culture and society?
You know, in Poland, I think that we have quite interesting mix of individualism, but at the same time, the strong family ties. And it is very important part of our culture. And Poles, for example, we have a quite high level of social trust, but the predictors of this social trust is the trust to family, not the trust to society and people as such. The family is very important for us, but which of course we can say that it is very, very positive, and I see it as very positive. But at the same time, in Poland, we have something that sociologists call familism. It is the situation when I think that things that are good for my family are moral, and it can cause again something the sociologist called immoral familism. I don't know if it is also in English. I know it from the
Can you explain that a little bit more?
Yes, immoral familism is for example, situation when you think only about your family, and you think that something that is good for your family is moral, even if it is immoral, and even if it brings the negative consequences for the society, for example. We have in Poland, the one example comes into my mind. In Poland, we have the problem in Krakow when I work. There's a problem of heating because many people use the cheapest and the most polluting coal to heating their houses. And it is something like that. I want my family to live in the comfortable, warm apartment, and I don't want to pay a lot of. So I buy the cheapest and or I use the cheapest and the most polluting things to warm the house, and then I don't care about the society. And I think this is the problem in Poland that we have, that we are very focused in our families and closer, and not only, and our friends, but we don't think about the society, say, as a whole.
And has that changed over the decades? Was it similar in communist time? Did it change after Poland came out of communism? Is it something strong, particularly today, or is it something which has always been there and it has no relationship with the governance system and political system of the country?
No, I think that this strong focus on the families is, I think that it is also rooted in the communistic time. So it didn't change very much from the communistic time. I don't think so, or at least I don't have such a knowledge. Maybe it is the consequence of living in the communistic time. No? In the communistic time, usually people didn't think about the society. If we had to, because we were forced by I don't know, by our municipalities to do something for the society, of course we did. But it was really tough times for living and to having a children, to having the families, and people were focused on their families. Because it was hard to focus on my families and the society at the same time. It was too tough to live in these times. Yeah.
So what happened after it became post-communism and it started getting better, easier, more income availability? What has happened today? And now if you look to the future, and Poland is a part of the European Union and feels a strong part of Europe and is confident in its own open system. Is this something that was a focus then and is going to get weakened as people become more and more individualistic? Is that what you think maybe in the future?
Okay, when we when we want to, let's say, understand what is going on in Poland and how we, let's say, why we are so consumerism, because we have high consumerism in Poland, we must have in mind this communistic past. And during this time, we didn't have a lot of social inequalities. More, the people roughly had the same, which wasn't much. We really didn't have the alternatives, many alternatives in the stores and many brands in the stores. And I can remember this time, I was a child during the communistic times, so I remember it more or less. And then for us, the West was the ideal way of life. The West was colorful, the West was funny, the West was comfortable. And then after the system has changed in 1989, suddenly we can say that the West came into Poland. We suddenly saw a lot of goods in the stores, a lot of brands, a lot of colorful packaging. So it was the consumption started to be I think, the symbol of freedom in Poland. The symbol, people thought we are the part of the West. And moreover, this transformation process was, which we also should note that this transformation process was difficult for many people. It was, some people found themselves good in this new situation. However, for some people, it was really difficult. It was full of uncertainty, it was full of stress. So also, it is possible that for many people, buying and consumption became the way to feel better, to control the situation, to feel more successful. And together with this, the advertisement came to Poland. And I still remember the first advertisement in Polish TV. And it was, for us, for children, it was like a miracle. We have the advertisement in Poland, and media started to create the picture, the Western picture of life, and show that it is the best way of life. The consumerism is something that is good. And so we have a really good situation. I think I see it. I see our economy growth. I see what people have that they can afford: the cars, the houses, the going abroad for the holidays and buying a lot of. And I think what we have now, and that is because of these communistic times, we had this conspicuous consumption. We like to have a lot of and to present ourselves as we can afford a lot of. And that is something that we have, I think, from the communistic time. But when you said about the European Union, that what my concerns are now about Poland and about the younger generation, that we are, first of all, we used to what we have. We don't. We think that this freedom is something normal, and we started to somehow question it. We have this conservative, let's say, part of society that is growing. You told that we are the member of the European Union. I hope that we are, and we will be the member of European Union. But I see now in Poland that, and in fact, that I have quite a lot of concerns about it, that we started to move from this values of, let's say, European Union. But what is interesting, in fact, we are not shifted from consumeristic values. No.
But if I ask you or say in Poland anything that's related to sharing economy, a collective, cooperative, is there an immediate reticence to go that way because people said no, that was the communist era, we're not going that way any longer? Or from a sustainability point of view, if we can get people to do things together, to share things together, we can get a lower material footprint and still have the good life. Is that a possibility in the dialogue in Poland, or is it seen as being going back to where they didn't want to be and associated with not having freedom?
No, I see some initiatives and people who are interested in this, let's say, circular economy or sharing economy. A lot of my friends are interested in this kind of activities, but I think that it is not the mainstream, and I'm afraid that maybe we will need quite a long time to move it to the mainstream, because I don't think that it is because of the people think we don't want to return to the communistic time. No, it is because people just like this. People just like buying the things because of this consumerist culture. It is difficult, to shift it to sharing, to the circular economy. Or maybe because of this communistic time, we just don't like to have the pre-owned goods, for example. So maybe because of the communistic, I'm not sure, but I think that it is because we just like to buy things, and now we can afford it. So we don't have, we can see the benefits of this kind of activities. In
So we
Poland,
need to reframe it so that it's attractive.
yes,
If it offered something good, if it offered something more attractive and enabled people to enjoy what they don't have, then they might choose it, but
yes, I
not
think so.
in the terms of not having it and giving something up. That's
Mhm.
a wrong framing for the population then.
I think so because we did quite a lot of research in Poland about the different, let's say, issues related to sustainability, like reducing meat, reducing dairy, circular economy practices, and so on. But we also asked people general questions about their attitudes toward the ecology, environment, and so on. And what we noticed, and it is not only from our research, it is the last research of Eurobarometer, for example, that showed that unfortunately, the environment, the sustainability in Poland is not very important value. For some people, of course, it is. But in general, it is not very important value. And or it is, I don't know, on the 5th place or 7th place. No, the first is safety, families, or my family, my health, and so on, my material status, and then is the sustainability. So I don't think that it is a good argument for people that something is sustainable. It can be the added value, but it is not main argument that may change my behaviors or our behaviors. We even call it that in countries like Germany, and we saw it from our research in countries like Germany, or where we did the research, I can't remember now, but I remember Germany, that we call it that in Germany, the ecology is I am for the ecology, I am for the environment. And in Poland, is ecology is for me. So people usually say, no, I can buy the ecological eco food because it is more healthy. No, but I don't buy it because it is good for the environment. It is only added value. The
Yes,
the first and
yeah,
foremost,
that is
it
a
is because it is healthy. But if it is more expensive, then I
yes.
don't want to pay more for that. No. So and in fact, when you ask about sharing economy, I think that in maybe in the cities there are initiatives that works, like repair cafes. I've heard that we had some repair cafes in Poland, but I live in a village and in the south east Poland, which is very specific region of Poland. And here we don't have this kind of, or people don't have this kind of needs.
So finally, Kasia, what would be the subject that you would like to see more dialogue in the SCORAI agenda?
Uh, I think that maybe we should discuss. We are a lot of people from different countries with a really huge knowledge. If we sum our knowledge, sum up our knowledge, it is really huge knowledge, and we have we have a lot of research, we have a lot of results that we can share. And what I think that we should discuss, or we could discuss it, how we can influence, for example, the governments. How we can we discuss it somehow with the governments, what we know, what is our approach. In other words, can we be, let's say, the more powerful agents as a SCORAI, for example, the agent for change? How we can bring this knowledge, how we can show this knowledge to municipalities, to business, to governments. And I think that maybe this is something that we can discuss, because I think that we share this knowledge among us, but maybe what we need to do, it's possible that there are people who do it and I don't know them just, but maybe as the organization, we can think about how we as the organization can influence, can become the agent of change. Oh, yeah.
Very good. Okay, that was a nice conversation. Thank you very much, Cassia, for joining me, and I wish you a good week. Goodbye.
Thank you very much. Bye. Bye.
Bye.